The Anunnaki O.'s enslavement of the god of death and President Nixon's war on drugs. A comparative analysis of control and authority. In ancient Mesopotamian mythology, the Anunnaki enslaved the god of death to exert control over the afterlife and maintain cosmic order. This act symbolized their authority over life, death, and rebirth, ensuring that the cycle of existence remained balanced. The god of death, once a powerful and independent entity, became a tool in the hands of the Anunnaki to regulate the fate of humanity. The Anunnaki were a group of deities worshipped by the Sumerians, Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. They were believed to be the offspring of Anu, the sky god, and Ki, the earth goddess. The Anunnaki played a crucial role in maintaining the order of the cosmos, and their influence extended into the afterlife. Nixon's war on drugs. In June 1971, President Richard Nixon declared drug abuse public enemy number one and launched the war on drugs. This initiative aimed to combat illegal drug use by increasing penalties, enforcement, and incarceration for drug offenders. The war on drugs was a government-led effort to control and reduce the illegal drug trade, with a focus on law enforcement and punishment rather than public health and treatment. Metaphorical comparison, control, and authority. Just as the Anunnaki sought to control the god of death to maintain cosmic order, Nixon's war on drugs aimed to exert control over drug use and distribution to maintain social order. Both actions were driven by a desire to regulate and manage a powerful force. Death in the case of the Anunnaki, and drugs in the case of Nixon. Anunnaki encounters. Ancient texts and myths contain accounts of encounters with the Anunnaki. For instance, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, the hero Gilgamesh seeks out the secrets of immortality and encounters the Anunnaki, who hold the knowledge of life and death. These encounters often emphasize the Anunnaki's control over the cosmos and their ability to influence mortal fate. Symbolism of power. The enslavement of the god of death symbolized the Anunnaki as ultimate authority over life and death. Similarly, the war on drugs symbolized the government's authority over drug policy and its ability to enforce laws and regulations. Anunnaki encounters. Various ancient artifacts and inscriptions depict the Anunnaki as powerful beings with control over natural and supernatural forces. Encounters with these deities often highlighted their commanding presence and their role in shaping human destiny. In the myth of Enki and Ninhursag, the Anunnaki's power over life and death is evident as they create and manipulate life forms. Impact on society. The Anunnaki's control over the god of death had profound implications for the afterlife and the cycle of life and death. Similarly, the war on drugs had significant social and legal impacts, leading to increased incarceration rates, racial disparities in sentencing, and a focus on punishment over rehabilitation. Anunnaki. Encounters. Accounts of the Anunnaki often describe their influence on societal structures and cultural practices. For example, the Anunnaki were believed to have established the first cities and taught humans essential skills, like agriculture and writing. Their control over the afterlife reinforced societal norms and beliefs about life, death, and the hereafter. Anunnaki encounters and perception of threat. The Anunnaki, as powerful deities, were often encountered in myths and stories by humans or other supernatural entities. These encounters typically emphasize their control over life and death, and their ability to influence cosmic and mortal order. The Anunnaki were revered, and their actions and decisions were seen as essential for maintaining balance in the universe. For example, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh's journey to seek immortality leads him to encounter the Anunnaki, who possess the secrets of eternal life. This encounter underscores the Anunnaki's dominion over mortal fate. Additionally, in the Enuma Elish, the Anunnaki wage a cosmic battle to establish order, highlighting their role as protectors of the cosmic balance. The perception of threat in these encounters is centered around the potential disruption of cosmic order. The Anunnaki viewed any force that could upset this balance such as rebellious deities or unruly humans, as a threat that needed to be controlled. Their actions were often driven by a desire to prevent chaos and ensure the continuation of the orderly cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Drug lords, encounters, and perception of threat. In the context of Nixon's war on drugs, encounters with drug lords and drug dealers often symbolized a significant threat to public health, social stability, and order. These individuals were seen as key figures in the illegal drug trade, which was perceived as a menace to society. Law enforcement agencies, much like the Anunnaki, sought to exert control over this perceived threat through stringent measures. High-profile encounters with drug lords, such as arrests and busts, were often highlighted in the media to emphasize the government's commitment to combating the drug epidemic. The aggressive tactics used in these encounters were aimed at dismantling drug networks and deterring others from engaging in illegal drug activities. The perception of threat here is centered around the destabilizing effects of drug abuse and trafficking on communities. Drug lords were seen as perpetuating a cycle of addiction, crime, and violence that undermined social order. Nixon's war on drugs framed the fight against drug lords as a necessary action to protect public welfare and restore societal stability. Comparative analysis, control, and authority. Both the Anunnaki and law enforcement agencies in the war on drugs aimed to exert control over powerful forces, death and drugs, respectively. Their encounters with threats, rebellious deities or drug lords, were driven by a desire to maintain order and prevent chaos. The symbolism of power, the Anunnaki, as enslavement of the god of death, symbolized their ultimate authority over life and death, while the war on drugs symbolized the government's authority over drug policy and enforcement. Encounters with drug lords highlighted this authority and the government's resolve to combat the drug trade. Impact on society. The Anunnaki's control over the afterlife had profound implications for cultural beliefs about life and death. Similarly, the war on drugs had significant social impacts, including increased incarceration rates and racial disparities in sentencing. Both actions had far-reaching consequences for the societies involved. Perception of threat. The Anunnaki viewed any force that could disrupt cosmic order as a threat, while the government viewed drug lords as a threat to public health and social stability. Encounters with these threats were framed as necessary actions to protect and preserve order. By comparing these encounters and perceptions of threat, we can see how both the Anunnaki and modern law enforcement agencies were motivated by a desire to maintain control and prevent the destabilization of their respective realms. Both narratives highlight the complexities of power, authority, and the impact of such actions on society and individuals.